We advise the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good evening, Philippines. Maayong gabi sa Tibok Mindanao, Visayas, ug sa Luzon. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Ako po si Erik Espina. Ito ang ating Republika. Pag-uusapan po natin ngayon sa Bisaya pa ang nagdilaab o ang mainit at nag-aapoy pa rin mga usapin at issue tungkol po dito sa usapang pangkapayapaan na ipinapatuloy po ng ating pamahalaan. Alinsunod po dito sa framework of agreement na ang nakapaloob po dito ay ang Bangsamoro na pinangungunahan ng Moro Islamic Liberation Front. Dalawa po ang ating panauhin sa gabing ito. Unang-una sa lahat ay siya po ang Vice President ng Mindanao ng PhilConsa. Walang iba ko hindi si Ginoong Saeed Daof. At meron din tayong kinatawan si retired Lieutenant General Raul Urgello ng Association of Generals and Flag Officers. At siya po ay, I think, Chairman ng Kampilan Peacekeepers din. Good evening to both of you, gentlemen, and thank you for joining the program.
Good evening.
Maraming salamat. Okay, first off, your thoughts, your take, the framework of agreement on the Bangsamoro.
Well, 15 years. It took them 15 years to arrive at this framework.
Okay.
They must have studied it very well. But what I noticed is this. The Bangsamoro identity,
Okay.
which had been a focus of attention of the M.I.L.F. and most of the Muslims in Mindanao, is what you call something that cannot be bought by money anymore. In other words, they have succeeded in getting that identity.
Okay.
That's my observation.
But in terms of next to the identity, but next to that, the framework itself, your sense of it, because the last time I had you as a guest, you had some I don't know if I can use the word misgivings about the way the negotiations is proceeding, since it was kept in silence.
No, now that they have brought the framework to the public, for the public's attention. Now, let me say first that this framework is just a roadmap, a direction, and a path to tread on the peace negotiators. This is not a peace agreement.
Okay.
This is only a framework,
A roadmap.
which will be the basis of the fine prints of what they will agree, formally agree in a peace agreement. And what I am interested and what I can say, because I do not know what they will agree about.
Yes, yes.
But what I can say are the things I would like to be included in the peace agreement. As what I have said when I was the guest speaker at the University of the East.
But granted that this is just a roadmap,
Yes.
but this will form the basis of the peace agreement that is yet to follow. And in that sense, these are the political commitments that is going to be made by this administration. And hence, this document delimits the parameters of the peace agreement. Don't you think this in itself defines already more or less How far?
Well, what I'm saying is this, you know, all of us do not have a crystal ball
Correct.
to predict the future.
Correct.
But this, as I have said, this is an improvement of what has happened. At least you have a direction. Now, of course, as to what is going to happen, we do not know. We do not know what they have, what they will agree upon, because they are all general statements. There are no specificity so far as I see this framework is concerned. There are how many points did they use? I think they have 10
Articles?
10 articles where the parties agree, and that's why. But nowhere in that framework is this statement where I believe should be included in the agreement.
Okay.
And number one is, of course, there must be the declaration, affirmation, and recognition of the Philippine sovereignty, territorial integrity, and of course the Philippine Constitution.
Okay.
And at the same time, the parameters and the areas where that this Bangsamoro political entity will carry, it's not really defined, because what I am saying now is that the ARMM region right now, which is the subject of this political entity,
Yes.
where it will be placed, or where they will be amending the ARMM law, must be included in the agreement as an integral part of the Republic of the Philippines.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll get back to you. No.
Yeah.
I'll leave you with a question. The finished product, could it have been better had we followed your prescription that in every part of the discussion there is a status report, and in this status report by the negotiators of the government of the Philippines, should it have been made public so that could have been, do not answer that first, so there should have been a discourse in the public, and then after a bouncing back of thoughts, certain improvements could have been made and brought back. We'll get back to you. General Urgello, what's the position of AGFO? What is your position? Optimism, guarded optimism, your thoughts?
Well, the document that came out is not also really an agreement.
Yes.
They just maybe agreed to agree in the future, or to discuss something in the future. The Philippine government actually is trying to, again, what happened when Nor Mishwari was revived. This is the same thing that is happening to the M.I.L.F. It is gasping for life. It's about to die as an organization, and then we might be giving several concessions to an organization which is about to die natural death. And even the leadership of the M.I.L.F. recognize that they are not really for war. Look at what they have agreed. They did not even pursue the 13 provinces that was always the contention of Nor Mishwari. So they agreed to that. And you look at what they have been doing, they are more like, more involved in business, and forgetting about their so-called revolutionary outlook. I think the leaders of the M.I.L.F. own a big shopping mall right in front of the regional hospital in Cotabato City.
Really?
The M.I.L.F.
The M.I.L.F.
Okay.
And maybe a hotel in Davao, a small hotel, Bahada. So they are more engaged in business rather than really fighting, because the present leadership of the M.I.L.F. cannot claim a total loyalty for the entire Maguindanao. Much more for the entire so-called Bangsamoro people. So it is now really trying to negotiate for something that it cannot even have if it will continue fighting. It is there are still a lot of people who are armed, which is a danger. But the fighting capability has been greatly reduced. Even you can have people who are armed, but they don't have the spirit to fight. There is an identity crisis that has been going on.
Is there a discipline problem? Do you sense there is a discipline problem within the MILF?
It is a big problem. When Hashim Salamat passed away, the group of Hashim Salamat basically are from the area in Pagalungan and Pikit. Do not want to be controlled by Haji Murad, who is from Nuling.
Okay.
They don't want. Hashim Salamat had an advantage because of his tie-up with the fundamentalist group, like the group of Omar Pasigan, where Haji Murad is leaning on. Because Haji Murad cannot claim to be one of those who are with the top leadership of the fundamentalist movement. So he is more or less trying to maybe expand his business, because Murad has been known to be a businessman for quite some time, more than 10 years.
He is more a businessman rather than a revolutionary?
Well, he started
or
out...
an ideologue?
Well, he started out as the military committee even during the early part of the rebellion.
Okay.
And he was maybe a good military chairman of the so-called Cotabato Revolutionary Committee. But as it evolved and money started coming in, he found it more lucrative to be involved in business. He controls the several rice mill in Cotabato, Sand and Gravel. Now he has, I think, in control of the shopping mall that I mentioned, the Al-Noor shopping mall in front of the regional hospital in Cotabato City. So this is not the actuation of a real revolutionary, but of a businessman.
How should the ordinary Filipino, or how should the ordinary soldier, if an ordinary soldier approaches you and say, General Rogerio, how should we read the current framework of agreement? Is there reason for concern? Do you think there will be more war, or this is just the raindrops before the monsoon?
We cannot really predict the future, but you can look at what had happened. There is a big change of leadership in Maguindanao, because I think the problem basically is now Maguindanao. When the clan of the Ampatuans were removed from power, it created a sort of a vacuum. And
yes.
that is in the central part of Maguindanao. I mean the center of the Muslim population in Maguindanao. So those who are in the fringes are just maybe satellite Muslim powers around the central
center.
part of, yes. And like for example, the Magunda Datos,
Yes.
they are from Lake Buluan. Even the Matalams, they are in the outer part of the periphery in the Pagalungan side. The Ampatuans are really in the main or in the center part of the Maguindanao, which is from Datupiang going towards Sharif Aguak and Talayan.
So in the middle of a so-called a vacuum, what usually happens when there is a central figure that is diminished or is gone, there usually tends to be a grappling for who takes center stage. Is that good for the region, or it's going to be the M.I.L.F that will provide the new power block in the area?
Well, when you don't have a recognized central authority in these areas where almost everybody is armed,
Yes.
there will be conflicts, there will be clashes, fighting. So maybe local fighting by this group trying to edge over the other. So this is what might happen in the future. But to challenge the central authority, I think they will be experiencing some difficulties.
Before I go to you, Mr. Daof, no, just one question. Do you see the possibility of, you have so many armed individuals with their own respective alliances there. do you see any of them eventually challenging the MILF? Or do you see them seeing the MILF as a threat to their own power base, such that they will resist the framework itself?
The danger here is looking at the future budget that the government will be providing for the new Bangsamoro entity.
They're talking about 12 billion plus another 8 billion.
I think around 16 billion.
Yes, yeah.
How
12
ma-
plus 8, yeah.
It is, you know, the history of this ARMM was several funds could not be explained. The whereabouts of this fund, where did it go? And this could be used to revive the fighting capability
Of?
of the MILF.
Okay.
Then, so that it will allow them to overcome the other minority groups. Within, not minority in the sense, the other groups who are also within the Maguindanao.
The other power blocks.
The other power blocks in Maguindanao.
And so, they are cooperative now? Or do they see this as a threat and therefore they will thumb down the framework of agreement? Or they will play politics with Manila since they are Liberal Party and they will say amen to the President?
Well, I think everybody there might become illiberal, but only in name. But there is always the regional and family loyalties which will be ahead of what of their goals and aims.
Mr. Daof, no? You were here. You had very good prescription. That
Yes.
in every step of the negotiation, you know, there should be some form of a status report. They did not do that. Had they done that, would the framework of agreement be better crafted, if I might use the word better crafted, had they followed your prescription?
Well, definitely, but the thing is, it's now, I would say that in as much as they have this framework,
It's already there.
it's already there. Now, you have to, that's why when I called you this morning, I told you, I don't want to talk about speculation.
Okay.
What I would like to talk about is what I believe should be
Included there.
in the peace agreement, rather than
Okay.
what they are going to talk about.
I ask you that question because had they followed what you said, all these things would have been included precisely in the
The problem is,
the problem
as
is,
I've said, as
why,
I've
why
said-
did why didn't they do it?
I don't know.
Uh,
As a matter of
Can,
fact,
can you speculate? Do you think
I'll tell you. I'll
they
tell you
didn't want to be?
Basically, I was with humility. I told you that what I have been writing,
Yes,
that are being published,
yes,
not only in one paper but
Okay.
in major papers in
yes,
the
yes,
country,
yes, yes.
are the things that I've said this. What they are talking about now, I've said this
Many times.
10 years ago.
Yes, yes.
8 years
Way
ago.
ahead of time. Yes, yes,
And nobody,
yes.
I didn't even get any acknowledgement
Okay.
that they
But-
have read my piece.
But did they listen to some of your points
I do not know.
based on the framework that the result?
Some of them,
Some, yes.
of course, some of them.
But-
the main important thing
Okay.
here,
Hindi ba malasado yung iba, mistiso?
well, I would say that if you do not deal on the inviolable facts
Okay.
that must be included in any agreement, then there must be something that we have to improve more.
Okay.
Because as I've said, we started first, as I've said, all right, recognition of our territorial integrity,
Oh, yes,
constitution,
yes,
and
okay.
sovereignty. One thing is, let us admit the fact that, as I have said, this is not a conflict between the government and foreign invaders. These are conflict between Filipinos, you know.
Okay.
In other words, that no matter what, whether you have whatever creed, ideology, political persuasion, ethnicity, and religion you have, for as long as you are a Filipino citizen, it must be included there that you are Filipinos.
Okay.
Rather than you are, because at the beginning, we don't know whether the MILF was negotiating as Filipinos or whatever they are.
Or whatever they are.
Whatever they are. Whatever they are, they called. Now, all they're saying is that they want to be identified as Bangsamoro. There is nothing wrong about identity.
They accept that they are now Filipino Bangsamoro.
Well, then that's an improvement.
Okay.
That's an improvement if that's the case.
Norby
If that's
Suarez
the case.
says...
But, excuse
Okay,
me.
Please go ahead.
But what I have said is that one thing that must be explicitly clarified
Is...
in any agreement, in any formal agreement, is that has the MILF renounced their secessionist stance and independence demand? I don't think so.
They have not.
I have not read it in there. So these are the things that must be included. If they,
So can you repeat that again for the benefit of the public? We have not read any declaration
Oh
by
yes,
the MILF.
this is very explicit.
Yeah,
I wrote
please
this.
say it again so that the public can hear that.
All
The
right.
MILF has not come out with any declaration renouncing.
Now, it is different when you are in media right now, you are telling something, rather than when you are sitting in a plenary session,
Yes.
that you are stating this, that, hey, we are all Filipinos, that it is all right for us to claim our grievances and claims,
Yes.
you know, against the government, provided that you do it through peaceful and non-violent
Correct,
means.
correct.
Whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a non-Muslim, you can protest against the government
Correct.
for as long as it is through peaceful and non-violent
violent
means
means.
or within the law. If not, then
So you have not seen them, and we have not seen them renounce.
I have not read it.
Okay.
I have not read
And
anything.
we have not noticed.
Now,
we agree with you. Yes.
well, there could be something maybe as a lip service. I don't know.
Are they willing to put their hand on the Quran and make that promise?
Well, let's ask them. Let's ask them. In the same manner that, you know, as I've told you, I am a Muslim.
Yes, yes.
All right. But I look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that I am pro-government or I am pro
MILF.
Islam, pro MILF. No, I'm looking at the future of our children's children.
Correct, correct.
Because we are supposed to be Filipinos.
Okay.
Now, we lost already, in other words, I want the preservation of the territorial integrity of the country.
Norby Suarez says
No.
that there is foreign intervention here. Malaysia is putting its finger into everything as far as the MILF
Well,
and the
it's not
Philippines
the
is
fault
concerned.
of Malaysia. We asked them.
Okay.
We asked Malaysia.
Uh-huh.
Malaysia did not volunteer.
Uh-huh.
As a matter of fact, it was us, it was our government who asked them to please be the facilitator.
Uh-huh.
And as a matter of fact, when I was a guest of the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, when
Yes.
I was invited, and I jokingly told him,
What was the name of the former prime minister for the public?
Prime Minister Badawi.
Okay.
And I told him that, well, you see, I know why you invited me here. You want to pick up my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I was jokingly saying that, but that is the truth.
Okay.
He said that we are just like a mockingbird. We enter into a cage.
And previously you mentioned that when you talked about Sabah, that ended your conversation.
Of course, definitely.
That ended your conversation.
Definitely.
Really?
But again,
Okay.
you know, we are talking here of interest.
Okay.
That is the national interest. One thing is that we cannot also blame everything on Malaysia why we lost Sabah. It was complacent. It was the inaction of our government. Why it happened?
Okay.
Maybe ignorance or maybe something is
Are
wrong.
you talking about post-Marcos?
Before, even before. It should have been done before because this is ours before.
Yes. But Macapagal was strong on it, and then Marcos, and then after that, it seemed to have been dormant.
You know, these are ultra high policy
Okay.
decisions.
I like that word, ultra high policy. Okay.
We are just here to see what's happening. And as I've said, those who are complaining now, maybe I'm also included. about this, all of these things. Why is
But you would like to recover Sabah, of course.
Of course, naturally.
Okay.
But the thing is this.
Okay.
The thing is this. One thing here about this joint, this format.
We're going to pause for a few reminders. Please hold on to that thought. Please hold on to that last word. And then after you will go to General Urgello. Republika will be right back.